From even that history, you can understand that the development of capital market is highly related with the broader social, economic, political standings of the country, the government, and even it depends on how the government sees the private sector, the role of the private sector, how much role the private sector should play in the economic development of the country. So that has been one of the issues of why we haven't set up a proper capital market in Ethiopia with a regulator present, with backed by technology and recognized, capital market intermediaries and other participants.
And just to clarify for people who do not understand the context before, in which era did we try to start the capital markets and what had transpired after?
It was Haile Selassie's era when the effort to establish capital market was started, but with the introduction of the socialist regime by Derg, that effort was I'd say abolished, and then we haven't seen any effort to establish a regulated capital market. But even within that time, especially after the fall of Derg, there was an effort of share issuances by share companies. We can see like the Ethiopian local retail commercial banks. We have over 30 banks, 18 insurance companies, and other financial sector and non-financial sector companies. But the effort has a lot of problems. There was a study by Ministry of Trade and Regional Integration as to the completion of this process. What has been the problem regarding the raising of shares and establishing share companies? One of the biggest issues were the issues of investor protection. A lot of people were victims of fraud. They've lost their investments to unfaithful investors. So that requires the establishment of a centralized regulator. That's the Ethiopian Capital Market Authority. And we can't imagine an effective functional capital market without technology. You want to reduce the cost of capital formation. You want to have easy entry and exit from the market. So you would want technologies to have like an efficient and functional capital market. So that's why this effort is being done now.
But just to further explore, we'll get to what's being done, but just the necessity of having a capital markets at this point in time. Maybe you can expand a little bit on what it would provide by playing to the current context.
Yes, even the capital market really resonates with the current government's idea of private sector-led economic development, resilient capital market, resilient economy, a sustainable economy, a financial inclusion, because capital market is a great tool of financial inclusion. When we, previously when we talk about financial inclusion, we usually think about the banking sector having a savings account, maybe having a wallet account through a digital banking system or different, kind of banking services. But that does not really give the investor the actual benefits that they deserve. So that's how the capital market resonates with the broader economic vision of the current government.
Okay, so fast forward to where we are right now, and over the past year and a half, there has been movements for the establishment of Ethiopia's first capital markets. What has been done so far in terms of bringing this to fruition?
When I talk about the development of capital market in any jurisdiction, I'd like to borrow one of the analogies my colleagues usually use. It's a capital market is like a tap water. Once you have all the necessary development and infrastructures in place, you can just have your water at your house, in your bathroom, or maybe living room. When you open the tap, you have the water. But before that, there are a lot of works behind it, maybe years of works, a lot of investments, a lot of people should be involved to have that tap water in our house. The establishment of capital market, the development of capital market in any jurisdictions involves different efforts to establish different moving parts of capital markets. Capital market involves the functional capital market needs a proper regulator, trusted intermediaries, technological platforms, exchange, and diversified investor base. So to have that, the government has been doing a lot of
the groundwork in that.
Yes. So the groundwork, the cornerstone of that groundwork, I'd say, is the Proclamation number 1248. That's, I'd say, the parent law in Ethiopia for the establishment of the necessary institutional frameworks. And of course, that birthed the subsidiary legislations that are very important to have a functional, a vibrant capital market in Ethiopia. So this proclamation, the Capital Market Proclamation, introduces basic and important institutions like Ethiopian Capital Market Authority. Ethiopian Capital Market Authority is the first regulator of capital market in Ethiopia ever. Like, we have never had an institution like Ethiopian Capital Market Authority. It's entrusted with safeguarding the interests of investors, maintaining fair markets. It has also a market development mandate given by the proclamation. We have also another very important introduction to Ethiopia's economic development, I'd say, the Ethiopian Stock Exchange. It's the first stock exchange in Ethiopia, as the authority is the first regulator in Ethiopia. The exchange, as I have told you earlier, technology plays a huge role in the development of a functional, vibrant capital market that actually contributes to the economic development of a country. So the Ethiopian Stock Exchange was established by the proclamation, and the proclamation opens up a modality of public-private partnership, and the Ethiopian Securities Exchange was established by public-private partnership. We have a lot of private investors in it. We have government investing in it. We have foreign developmental partners investing in it. That shows, in one side, the commitment of the government to establish the capital market. On the other hand, it shows the confidence of the private sector with the prospectus of capital market in Ethiopia. Even as a developmental partners, like different developmental partners who want to deepen financial sectors in Africa, have involved in the development of Ethiopian Securities Exchange, and they have even invested in the exchange. I'd say this shows the confidence of the participants in the prospects of capital market in Ethiopia. The other one would be the effects that shows we're moving towards establishing a functional capital market, would be having the subsidiary legislations that are necessary to bring about the necessary moving components of capital market. For example, after the introduction of the proclamation, we have close to 4 or 5 directives by the Ethiopian Capital Market Authority that governs issuers. This directive is the Public Offer and Trading Directive. We have another directive regulating capital market service provider. We have another one for the regulation and licensing of exchange, over-the-counter markets, and derivative markets. So these components will eventually and inevitably help us to set up the proper institutional regulatory frameworks that are necessary to build, of course, a functional capital